Quaddie legs time, Caulfield. We've got Rant favourite Nigel on here with our Melbourne pro Roy, and we've covered off on races 1 to 5. The suggestion is that this track will deteriorate with some rain, and Nigel's particularly excited about the meeting. You need to be a subscriber or a member to get Nigel and Roy's thoughts on the opening 5 races. And furthermore, I should mention that we do these shows, and they're a couple of days out. But the Melbourne Pro service, particularly last Saturday, gets Roy's final thoughts, his distillation of what he's seeing on race day. And we were just talking off air about him sort of getting very, very keen on the winner of race 1 last week, which obviously ran around short odds but demolished the field. And it's sort of part of it is part of the insight that you're able to avail yourself of as a subscriber of the service. So race 6 is a 3-year-old fillies race, and I thought that Manolo Bling would be spelling by now after what I saw last start, but she's going around again. She's not favourite, of course. Savagery Vibe, back from a run in Sydney, is $4.60. Shadavar, who was very plain for us 2 weeks ago, but second up here is $6.50. Mystic Rain is $7.50. Manolo Bling $8. Sun Setting Affirmer at $10. Delicate Lady $10. And Supercilious has had an interesting campaign. It's gone 11, 11, 14 back to 11 here with the blinkers on. And it is the only other one under sort of 16 to 1. It's $12. My early speed figures have Manolo Bling from 4, perhaps across Delicate Lady. Mystic Rain pushes forward from a wide draw, and Shadavar may be able to get into 1 out, 1 back. What are you saying about the pace shape here, Roy?
Look, it looks pretty keen, doesn't it? You've got a few of those sort of 1,000-metre horses, Manolo, Graham Begg's horses drawn wide. It's got speed. Number 4, Mystic Rain. There's a couple of others you could throw in there as well, isn't there? So it looks pretty good tempo here, I would have thought. I mean, Don't Russia led the other day, so it looks a truly run 1100. This.
All right, and where are you? What's your starting point here?
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit of a tricky race. The 2 horses that I was interested in were Savagery Vibe and Delicate Lady. I just felt that Savagery Vibe, look, they tried it up in Sydney. It didn't seem to be able to sort of get its act together. It was on the wrong leg and all that sort of thing. Laying out. I think that this race sets up nicely for it. It gets Williams, it gets the pace on, it gets the middle part of the track. Third up from a little break, and it sort of you kind of have to come back to it. Shadavar was so disappointing last time, so I couldn't come into it. And I must say I was impressed with Delicate Lady. Bendigo won on the heavy there. Didn't be much, but did a good job. And some of the horses that ran around against last time in, it's got a third there to Gala Queen, etc. They're okay. It'll probably be in an awkward spot here, barrier 1, just behind the lead, possibly in the worst part of the track. Who knows? But I found it hard to get excited about the others in the race. You could maybe stretch to making a case for something like Supercilious with Shin and getting that sort of 1,400-metre run under its belt. But that was kind of it. I don't really know where. I don't think I can make a case for, or certainly can't make a case for Manolo Bling.
Yeah, she appears to have used her marbles. So how are you approaching this race, Nige?
Just a couple things. Always Enough looks like it's going to Adelaide. No rider listed there.
Yep.
Manolo Bling scratch from Adelaide looks like it'll run here. And Fieldello already scratched. Giant McNeil comes off it and goes on Sun Setting. And for me, that's where I went sunsetting. Key form race I thought was the Flemington Creswick race that She's an Artist bolted in on the 21st of June. She's an Artist raced a few of the favourites here, and first one home was the favourite in this race here, Savagery Vibe, but kind of thought Savagery Vibe on that day had the right ride, sort of got cover, came down the outside part of the track, and in the end, it marginally beat Supercilious by a head. Sunsetting was half a length away behind them, but the key with Sunsetting was that it was on the inside section of the track, which was, in my opinion, vastly inferior. It raced with Bridle Waltz, who, in my opinion, has showed that up as being an inferior part of the track with what it's done since. And Sunsetting was there. It had Rose Hammond on it from Barrier 2. Last start, Craig Williams, I think, missed the boat in a 1,000-metre race at Sandown. He kind of seemed to be cuddling at the front half of the straight, and when he got stuck into it, it wasn't an overly fast-run race where they've come home in under 33 seconds, and it's really rattled home the last 100, and probably, as I said, a careless ride probably should have been winning that race. Here, I think, drawn right part of the track, we've got three horses with single figures in the market: Manolo, Bling, Mystic Rain, and Shadavar, along with, as Roy pointed out, Don't Rusher, all racing on pace. I think setting it up for something to surge down the middle, for me, Sunsetting is that horse. I want to talk a little bit about the favourite, Savagery Vibe. Of course, I've just mentioned it in the Creswick. It's come up to Sydney. It's been completely flattered by rails in run bias. And for me, it's priced off that run, that run is nothing special. The other horse that I want to have on my side is number 5, Supercilious. Again, Blake Shin finished right next to Savagery Vibe in the same race that She's an Artist won. And here it is, double figures. Gets back to a more suitable distance. Again, I think that, hard fit, potentially drawn the right part of the track. I want to have it on my side, but Sunsetting over Supercilious for me.
All right, I need you to talk about Mystic Rain, which is a Graham Begg horse that, he's such a player, and, he presents here an unbeaten filly. What's your take on her?
Yeah, first up, heavy. It's something that I'm against generally on the whole. I'm against on this meeting, and I don't think, a rain-affected track is to its benefit. So there's some key negatives for me. No doubt, different scenario, I'd go looking for it. But, good track, maybe a few other leaders not contesting. But, I do not like...
All right, you see it as being a poison chalice for this horse this Saturday.
It also didn't jump out amazing, I thought, either. I don't know if you caught that, guys, but it was just okay. It wasn't anything special. I mean, he wasn't testing it much, but I wouldn't say it was amazing at the jump outs.
Okay. That's enough commentary. Let's have a look at race 7, which is benchmark 100 over the mile. And what a crazy race this is. The form lines are, well, I found them tricky. $5.50 Earlswood, back from 2000. $6.50 Regal Vow. $8.50 Forgot You. $9 Munamek. $9.50 the import New Look. $9.50 C&E. $10 Detonator Jack, who gets his probably preferred going. $11 St. Lawrence. $14 El Rocco. $14 Berkeley Square. $15 Milford. It is a compact market, and as far as the speed is concerned, well, the horse that's coming back from 2000, is mapped to lead. Nigel, your horse El Rocco it hasn't really jumped from wide draws lately, but did get out from an inside draw and tracked the speed the other day. It's up to the mile. Forgot you and perhaps C and E, but it's a bit of a dog's breakfast, this map. I'll go to Nigel first, Nigel, because you're an owner. How you've obviously paid a bit of attention to how this race is likely to run. How would you map this race?
Yeah, I think that El Rocco will be ridden as aggressively as possible to get out of the barriers and to race forward. If it was able to lead, it would lead. But the intention, based on what the trainers advise the connections, is that it will be ridden to get out of the barriers and contest the lead. Given that there's not much pace in this race, that it only has to jump, on terms with them to achieve that. In terms of other horses, I think the only other horse that can race on pace with it is Forgot You. It does look a very slow race, and that's pretty key when you look at a bunch of horses coming from 2,000 metres back to 1,600 as well. Not easy under that scenario to be sprinting, to be, performing well under a slow pace shape.
So what are you going to do here, Nigel? Obviously, you've got an owner's hat on in this race, but I
am biased, but I am hopeful. I think that El Rocco, 1,600 metres is not really its ideal distance, but wet track is the only hope for this horse. And as I've discussed earlier, it looks likely to be wet. And its last start run behind Zeus Sensation definitely looks good enough. I mean, Yellow Sammy is in the following race here. It's $10. It beat it a length and a half last start. Gets in with a similar weight, similar jockey. I think it's over the odds. If the rain does come like seems likely, I don't think it'll start, the current price, which is around $15. The horse that I thought that we'd find hardest to beat is number 10, Regal Vow. Again, this is coming out of different form. I think with a big drop in weight, pretty good record on the soft track, and gets Craig Williams on. If it jumps well out of the barriers, which it is iffy out of the barriers, it can race handy. And I think for me it's a betting race, and 10 or 11 are the bets for me.
So Regal Vow, I just watched it crawl to the line last start. What are you saying about that performance? It appeared very, very plain.
Definitely was ridden well by Brad Rawiller. I just think that the market and me value that drop in weight more significantly than probably you do.
Well, it's funny. It is. It's not that I don't factor it in. It's just that I had this horse in the market last time. I watched it have every possible chance and then be not even hold on to run third. So I was a bit invested, I suppose, in its poor performance last start. Roy, what are you saying here?
Oh, look, it's a quiet race for me, this one. I spent more time on it than I wanted to, but the old stages here. Look, in the end, I came back to Earlswood. Perhaps maybe it's better at 1,600 than 2,000. It probably won't be far away here on the map, maybe third or fourth. Wet's no issue. That form looks, pretty handy now through Sadati. And the run before, I can't get it out of my mind. I felt like it went better than some of those horses in that race that day, Saban and Sadati. So that was 1,800. So perhaps maybe it's a little bit better coming back in trip. But I found it a very testing race. The Flemington lead up, I thought Munamek was better than Forgot You that day. Munamek was held up.
But Munamek is Flemington, isn't he? I mean, that's his go.
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably need some pace
And
on.
Forgot You, which was I should remind everybody was a huge result for Roy's followers.
Please don't remind us.
But it does get B Shin there, which seems
It was interesting, yeah.
Sixth,
interesting.
was it fifth up from a super long spell gelded this preparation.
I didn't think Nigel's horse was out of it either. I mean, these two down the bottom seem to profile pretty well, and certainly any more rain, El Rocco's going to be up the front, and
Nigel does a rain dance every time the horse is nominated. Let's look at the feature, which is the Bletchingly. They keep talking about the swan song for the Godolphin Blues. So here we've got the most interesting resumer on the program, Barrack Keel, $3.20. Second pick in the market is $5.50 Bridal Waltz, the 3-year-old filly, $7 New York Luster out of the lead up, $8.50 Recommendation out of the lead up with the blinkers back on, $9 Kin, $10 Yellow Sam. Both those runners have had some friends. $12 Inhibitions, $13 Kalos. The Moonee Valley mare Apache Song is the only one out of the market. And the map here is, well, we've got Recommendation in 3 with the blinkers back on. Apache Song has speed from 2. Barrack Keel has speed from 1. And then you've got Bridal Waltz out in 6. So, Roy, how do they line up here?
I think that's what it is. I think the three of them will press on. Apache Song, Moonee Valley horse will kick up. Recommendation that worked going forward the other day. And obviously Bridal Waltz, they won't, want to hesitate because they've found you got to let it stride. And that's how it won the other day and beat the 3s on pop or whatever. So they're probably all going to, sort of press forward here. New York Luster not far away, sort of just coming across in behind. So I think the tempo's okay.
And fascinating resumer. What are you doing with Barrack Keel and what are you doing with this race?
Yeah, good horse. Interesting. He's a 6-year-old. Had a bit of time off, obviously 8 months off since the last run. Handy horse, there's no doubt about it. Looked superb that day in the Group 2 at Moonee Valley when it won. It probably only beat second-rate Group 2 horses that day, though. I Am Unstoppable and Mornington Glory, but it did it, convincingly. And then it obviously ran well in the Group 1 behind Sunshine in Paris. So I think it's probably top pick, but I don't really want to come in at the price myself. I'm not quite sure where he's going to get to from barrier 1, and I don't think that 320 it just doesn't feel right. There's nothing wrong with the horse. I understand. You want more of a premium in this situation. I mean, it would be nasty taking 320 and seeing it on the inside of line of 3 first up going, oh God, I'd rather it wasn't there. Is there a position you can take or are looking to take? The query runner is obviously the bottom one, Bridal Waltz. It's come out with that big performance the other day, beating a hyped up bunch of 3-year-olds, and probably rightly so. Like the Duchess Zoo has one out of that race, but it doesn't quite sort of get the control that it got that day here. So I think I'm respecting it, but I don't think it's going to be quite so easy to produce that performance again. New York Luster, look, I'm not quite sure about 1200, strong 1200 on it. It has won at that trip, but it's a little bit questionable. So then I'm sort of back to, I'm not really interested in Recommendation. So I guess then I'm back to the blue colours, Inhibitions and Kin, who sort of just looks like the sort of stalkers out wide late here. Kin's run was quite good in the race that Joe Pride's horse won. It was slowly run and sort of hit the line late. So I was interested in it. And Inhibitions just wasn't there first up at Flemington for whatever reason. And hit the line well late. So I'm kind of thinking outside the market with the blue colours, but geez, it's not an easy race.
Yeah. Did you find this easy, Nige?
About as easy as the other races today.
Well,
first thing I want to do is talk about Barrack Keel. I I think it's coming back from a suspensory ligament injury, which is the second time it's done it. That's why it didn't race until a 5-year-old. So it's had the 8 months off. It's first up 1,200 metres testing track. I'll be surprised if it starts favourite. Not that I don't think it's the best horse in the field. I just think this setup is awful for it. Barrier 1, heavy track, 1,200 first up. Like I say, I don't think anyone will want to back this horse.
Yep.
I think Bridal Waltz will start favourite. I think Bridal Waltz is obviously up and running. Everyone in the world had Cheese and Artist as a champion, and
Everest
it
horse,
beat
yes.
it fair and square. It beat Duchess Zoo. Duchess Zoo started odds on at its next start and won comfortably enough, as has been mentioned. I think no convictions on the wet track. I think options from barrier 6. You've got a bunch of 1,100 metre horses in this race. New York Luster, Recommendation, Kalos, who I think will be folding up. And I think that you want something a bit hard and fit. I think Bridal Waltz is your starting point, and I think your second bet in this race has to be the horse Roy was kind of keen on here, which was Kin. Kin has got wet track form. It's got 1,200 metre form. It was kind of missed the boat a bit last start, got too far back. But there's nothing wrong with finishing, tracking home in flight. In flight, it'd start favourite in this race, in my opinion. And there's not much between it and in flight. I think with a better ride, with a fast pace here, probably coming to the best part of the track. I think with Craig Williams on, it's something that it's the second bet in the race for me. Bridal Waltz, Kin, I think you can get a result out of one of those.
Sounds good. All right. Let's get on to the nightcap, which is 1,400 metres, benchmark 84. Keep Your Cool's got a riding change here. It's $4.20 and a firmer. $7.50 Pariah Pearl on a 7-day backup, but back from a mile. $8 Sassy Boom with Shin aboard. $8.50 True to Form without Shin goes to The Apprentice. $10 LEU back from failed Sydney trip. $12 Eugenius is a firmer. And then the winner of, I suppose you'd call the lead up, it was the 80,000 benchmark 78 Home Rule. It's $14. Speed here is, Home Rule from 1. Reinberg's got toe from 2. Sassy Boom is an alternate leader from 3. Eugenius gets right up on the speed from 4. LEU has enough speed at 1,400 to contest the lead, which leaves True to Form and Pariah Pearl out wider, perhaps like being stuck wide. Keep Your Cool perhaps does get the right run from 6. What are you saying about this shape, Roy?
Yeah, there's enough pace. Obviously, Home Rule, Sassy Boom, LOU might press on, Pariah Pearl's drawn wide, so there's certainly enough tempo. It's not an easy race, though, as far as finding the winner. I found it very difficult. I must say, I feel like the market's got one horse wrong here. This bottom one, number 15, Eugenius. I mean, 2 starts ago on the heavy there, chased home a good horse and spaced the rest. And it was very exposed in front that day. Second to La Fraca or whatever it's called. And then last time at the hillside, it was 4 wide the whole way. It was a great run. Only got beaten half a length. So it's proven on the wet. It can probably just tuck in behind here. Maybe sort of 1 out, 1 back or something. And I must say, I think, $13 or $12 seemed...
All right, so you're a bit excited there. That's a good way to
fascinating.
Us home.
The fascinating horse in the race is Home Rule. I mean, how did it do that last time? It had no 1,400 metre form. It was the only horse that I think won on the fence all day at Caulfield. It seemed to run along, from what I could see.
Yep.
And I can't.
I think it enjoyed leading.
I can't back the horses that got beaten by it out of that. And there's 3 of them in this: True to Form, Keep Your Cool, and Eye of the Eagle. So no interest there. And then I think you're probably then looking to the Flemington lead up, Pariah Pearl and Cindy Falls. Maybe that's the direction to head. Pariah Pearl's got a bad map. Cindy Falls is always getting back and running on. I guess it's got a chance, but
doesn't have a rider either.
It's a fascinating race.
I think the case you make for Eugenius is very interesting as one that has looked at this race and been a bit befuddled. Nigel, does your clarity extend to the last race?
It's probably the least confidence race for me of the day, unfortunately. I think that the home rule race is the best form. I think in the lead up to this race, I think some of the mares races are no good. Don't think Windstorm or Rheinberg, they're going any good. So, I was happy to get rid of those mares and the old stages at the front. I thought Keep Your Cool was your starting point at $5. At $4, I'm not so sure. I'd keep an eye on that. I think that it's been part of the speed in its last two runs, and I think it can benefit from being ridden off speed in this race. And it is definitely a horse that it appears to run quite well on wet tracks. I think the defence was okay. I think the track was very fair when they ran last week, but you did have Windstorm holding off True to Form, who were leader and leaders back, and this Keep Your Cool got involved in a little bit of a bumping duel around the turn and kind of wasn't in their slipstream. So I think it was a superior run to those two. But, no great spoil at the price. The other horse with the completely different form that I thought was big odds and worth a spec is the Nick Rain trained Hurricane. Won first up last preparation. I kind of thought that if it's the sort of horse that could be last man standing, if it just goes back to last, and we
love stayers at 1400. I certainly, it's one to look at, isn't it?
I think, it's definitely, you go back and look at its form, and its form it's been running in classes that are, have it more than competitive in this race. I mean, there's no reason why, if it turns up with its A game, it can't win this race. It's $27. So for me, they're the two that I'm potentially backing, but not overly confident.
All right, so let's look at the Quaddie legs from Caulfield. Don't forget that if you are a member or a subscriber of Roy's service, which you should be, because you get 2 weeks free to look at it and see how good it is, just click on the eye in the top right-hand corner. You will find a preview of races 1 to 5, either in the channel or sent to you as a Racing Rant member. Thank you, Nigel, for sterling effort as usual. The depth and breadth of your assessments is greatly valued. And Roy, we look forward to Saturday. No matter what the conditions hold, we'll be anxious to get in and play this Caulfield meeting. So,
we have to keep an eye on the weather, don't we?
We do, and you'll obviously get updated as far as that information is concerned in the channel. Thanks again, Nigel. Thank you, Roy. Good luck on the weekend.
Thanks, Nigel. Thanks, Mark. Good luck.